Get ready, wrestling fans. Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, might be storming back into WWE. Why? Because Brock has just been spotted again, and this time, he's back in his classic look. That's right. Lesnar has chopped off the long hair, ditched the cowboy style, and returned to the look that made him a terrifying presence in the ring. A brand new photo just surfaced. And yep, it's legit. But here's the big question, when is Brock Lesnar returning to WWE? We're breaking that down. And everything else, in this video. So don't blink. Before we get to Brock, let's talk about the other heavyweight storyline stealing headlines right now. Goldberg vs. Gunther, officially set for Saturday night's main event, with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. But Gunther? Still not backing down. Just like he mocked Goldberg at Bad Blood, he's back at it again. Let me show you something Gunther just posted online. He wrote, "I'm next. Yes, I can spare 3 minutes. Direct shot. No subtlety." Gunther is trolling Goldberg hard, basically saying he'll wipe him out in just 3 minutes. That's bold. Real bold. But here's the thing, Goldberg is not someone you take lightly. He's a proven finisher. A legit threat. And who knows? Maybe he's the one who finishes Gunther in 3 minutes. So tell me in the comments, who do you think takes the win, Goldberg or Gunther? Because right now, Gunther is still taking shots, and all eyes are on how Goldberg will respond. Now, let's get back to the Beast himself, Brock Lesnar. Signs are pointing to a comeback. And here's why people are talking. Recently, Brock was spotted again, and this time, he looked exactly like the old Lesnar we all remember, short hair, intense expression, no nonsense. A while ago, he was seen with long hair, and fans wondered, is Brock done with WWE? Is this a post-wrestling transformation? The long hair, the cowboy style, it looked like he was moving on. But now? He's back in beast mode. Completely transformed. And in the latest photo, which looks like it was taken at a gym, Brock's hair is short again, and his beard's trimmed just like the classic cowboy Brock look. You can even spot the gym equipment in the background, so the guy who took the photo with Brock might be a trainer or staff member. But here's the headline, Brock Lesnar is back in his old look. The hair's cut. The vibe is different. The switch has flipped. So, what does that mean? Is a return to WWE on the horizon? Look, as of now, there's no official update about Brock's return. WWE hasn't announced anything. But these back-to-back sightings? The new old look? They're raising eyebrows. Fans are buzzing. Speculation is through the roof. And let's be real, a returning Brock Lesnar would shake things up in a massive way. So the question isn't just if he's coming back, it's when. Let me know in the comments. Would you rather see Brock Lesnar return with this classic look, or did you like the longer-haired version? For now, this is the big update, Brock Lesnar has been spotted in his classic beast form. That's everything for today's video. Be sure to like the video, and if you're new here, subscribe for more content like this. Let's get to 100 subscribers together. And I'll catch you in the next dangerous, wild, and 100% wrestling-obsessed video. See you soon. This wasn't supposed to happen. That's the line fans kept whispering on forums, shouting on social media, and muttering to themselves as they watched chaos unfold live on Monday Night Raw. It was supposed to be a routine promo. Seth Rollins, flanked by his new powerhouse faction, handpicked by Paul Heyman, stepped into the ring to boast, to threaten, to declare dominance. Heyman held the mic like a preacher in a pulpit. Rollins laughed like a man untouchable. The crowd jeered, but they'd seen this movie before. Until the screen glitched. Until the arena lights cut. Until one name, one force, made the audience sit up straight in their seats like they'd just seen a ghost. Brock, freakin' Lesnar. Not cowboy Brock. Not relaxed, laughing, long-haired Brock. We're talking beast mode. Short-haired. Dead eyes. Pure predator energy. No warning. No build-up. Just impact. Lesnar didn't speak. He didn't posture. He didn't even look like a man with a plan. He looked like a problem you don't solve, you survive. Within seconds, it wasn't about what Seth was saying anymore. It was about how fast he could run. And it turns out, not fast enough. Lesnar stormed that ring like a predator spotting prey after a long winter. He threw fists, bodies, and rules straight out the window. Suplex after suplex. F5s like punctuation marks. Bodies scattered. Microphones broken. Security useless. And just like that, the man the WWE Universe thought was done, over, retired, or at least riding off into the prairie sunset, was back. And not just back. Back with a vengeance. Let's slow down and get real here. In the world of professional wrestling, where shock value is currency and timing is everything, this moment wasn't just another return. It wasn't nostalgia bait. It wasn't a cheap rating stunt. It felt deliberate. Strategic. Dangerous. The Beast didn't just walk into an empty ring. He walked straight into the heart of Paul Heyman's new dynasty. Into the path of a faction being built to dominate WWE's future. He didn't come for randoms. He went straight for the crown. So we have to ask, why? Why now? Why this target? Why this look? For the last several months, fans have seen Lesnar fade from the spotlight. No WrestleMania moment. No interviews. No news. His long-haired, cowboy persona seemed like a swan song. The laid-back, smiling Brock from Saskatchewan. A man winding down. But that's over now. A new photo dropped last week, and it kicked the speculation machine into overdrive. Brock Lesnar, freshly shorn. No hat. No flannel. No fun. Just steel. Muscle. That look. And in WWE? That look means one thing: someone's about to get hurt. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on everything you need to know: what exactly happened on Raw when Brock Lesnar returned, the real history between Brock, Rollins, and Heyman. And why this isn't just a grudge match, the clues we missed before this storm hit, the deeper implications for the entire WWE roster, and what this all means moving forward, for WrestleMania season, the title picture, and the future of the Beast Incarnate. If you're new to this channel, buckle up, because we're not just breaking the news. We're dissecting it. We're looking for the why, not just the what. And if you've been riding with us, you already know. When Brock Lesnar enters the conversation, nothing is off limits. Since Lesnar's appearance, the internet's exploded. Clips from Raw have racked up millions of views in hours. Reaction videos are flooding TikTok and YouTube. Reddit threads are on fire with theories, and wrestling journalists are scrambling to confirm if this is a one-time hit or the beginning of a new chapter. One fan on Twitter wrote, "This is the Brock we've been waiting for. No jokes. No banter. Just violence. Old school Beast. Let's go." Another posted a screenshot of Lesnar mid F5, with the caption, "Tell me again how this man was washed up." I'll wait. Even ex-WWE stars are chiming in. Sheamus tweeted a simple "oh." Cody Rhodes reportedly texted "game on." Paul Heyman? Silent. And that's the part that's got people whispering the loudest. Heyman, usually the first to spin, hype, or tease, has said nothing. Which begs the question, was he caught off guard by Lesnar's return? Or was he expecting it? Let's talk details. This wasn't just a physical comeback. It was a thematic one. Lesnar's gear was blacked out. No cowboy hat, no gimmick shirts. Just taped fists, fight shorts, and a stare that could turn steel soft. The camera caught a moment, just one, where Lesnar stared directly at Heyman. He didn't flinch. He didn't smile. He didn't even blink. And Heyman? He froze. For half a second, the loudest mouth in WWE had nothing to say. That one image. Lesnar glaring, Heyman paralyzed, is already iconic. It says something bigger. There's unfinished business here. This isn't just about titles. It's about betrayal. About power. About who really controls WWE's future. Why now? Timing is everything. WWE's in the middle of reshaping itself. New champions. Rising stars. Rumors of returns from legends. And a huge title match looming, Goldberg vs. Gunther, with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. In the middle of that storm, Brock Lesnar steps in. Not as a sideshow. Not as a guest. But as the main threat. It's almost too perfect. Almost like someone knew this would be the moment he'd make the most noise. And that brings us to a bigger idea. This might not be just a return. It might be a takeover. What comes next? There's no official announcement yet. No statement from Triple H. No press release. No confirmation on match bookings or future appearances. But let's be honest, do we need one? Lesnar doesn't need contracts or countdowns. He doesn't work on anyone's schedule but his own. And if what we saw on Raw was just the beginning, then the entire WWE locker room better sleep with one eye open. Because the Beast isn't coming back to be part of the machine. He's coming back to break it. If you thought Brock Lesnar was finished. If you thought the cowboy era was the final chapter. If you thought Paul Heyman had moved on. You thought wrong. So here's the question for you. Is this Lesnar's final act of destruction, or is he about to become the biggest threat WWE has seen in years? Drop your take in the comments. We're reading every single one. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button, because this story's just getting started, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Because Brock Lesnar is back. And he's not here to play. This was the kind of Monday Night Raw that redefines what live television can feel like. No spoilers. No hints. No countdown. Just a cold, hard slap of reality hitting the WWE Universe square in the face. The episode began like any other. Monday, 8 p.m. sharp. The pyro exploded across the screen. The commentators hyped the evening's stacked card, a United States title match, a women's division brawl, and an exclusive address from the reigning World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. That last one was the draw. Seth's faction had been steamrolling through Raw for weeks under the subtle but unmistakable influence of Paul Heyman. This was billed as the night they would lay out their blueprint for domination. Seth walked out mid-show, not at the top, which already threw the fans off. His music hit, remixed with heavier bass, and the crowd sang along. Rollins, dressed in a black and gold suit that screamed arrogance, stood center stage flanked by two rising stars, Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu. Paul Heyman followed, clutching the microphone like a loaded weapon. Heyman did what he does best. He set the tone. He crafted the illusion that this faction wasn't just another stable, but the final evolution of WWE power. He dubbed them the architects of annihilation. Fatu and Breaker postured behind Seth, exuding raw menace. Then Rollins took the mic. He mocked everyone from Cody Rhodes to Gunther. Called out Goldberg for chasing relevance. Took shots at legends, part-timers, the WWE Universe, and anyone not wearing his faction's colors. His final line before all hell broke loose? No man alive can stop what we're building. Not Cody. Not Gunther. Not even the so-called Beast, who's too busy playing rancher to remember how to fight. At that exact moment, the screen behind him glitched. No music. No logo. Just flickers. Distortion. White noise. Then, silence. For 5 full seconds, nothing. Then the lights dropped. Total blackout. The crowd lost it. Phones went up. People screamed. The commentary team fell silent. Then, slowly, through the blackness, a low, guttural growl rose through the speakers. The Lesnar soundbite, the classic growl from his old Titantron video, played for less than a second. Then it cut. Cue panic. When the lights flicked back on, Brock Lesnar was in the ring. No entrance. No warning. He was already there. Rollins turned and backed into Heyman, who stood frozen. Breakker was the first to move. And he paid for it. Lesnar caught him mid-charge, lifted him like a child, and delivered a German suplex that sent him rolling out of the ring. The crowd exploded. Fatu tried to square up. He threw 2 hard shots to Lesnar's chest, barely making the Beast stumble. Lesnar grinned. 1 knee to the gut, a thunderous clothesline, and Fatu was on the mat gasping. Rollins grabbed a steel chair, desperation in his eyes. He swung. Lesnar caught the chair. One hand. Ripped it away. Threw it aside. Then came the F5. Rollins didn't just fall, he bounced. The entire arena erupted into a deafening roar. Some were cheering. Some were screaming. Everyone was on their feet. Heyman didn't move. Not at first. He just stared, eyes wide, mouth open, lips trembling. Lesnar walked over, slowly. 1 step. 2. 3. Heyman finally backed away, slipped through the ropes, and ran up the ramp. No promo. No farewell. Just fear. Lesnar didn't pursue. Instead, he stood in the ring, breathing heavy, eyes sweeping the carnage. Then he did something no one expected. He picked up the steel chair Rollins had tried to use. He set it upright. He sat down. He looked directly into the hard cam. No words. Just that stare. That cold, deliberate glare. The message was clear. I'm back. Come try me. Backstage, it was chaos. Reports began surfacing even before the segment had officially ended. Production crew scrambled. The announce team tried to play catch-up. Corey Graves stammered something about unannounced returns. Michael Cole kept shouting, "What does this mean?" as security flooded the ring. But Lesnar didn't resist. He sat in the chair until the show cut to commercial. That commercial break might go down as one of the most impactful in Raw history. Social media detonated. Brock Lesnar was trending worldwide in under 10 minutes. WWE's own YouTube channel uploaded the segment with the caption, "Unbelievable Return, Lesnar Destroys Rollins and Faction," and the clip reached 1 million views in less than 30 minutes. When the broadcast returned, Lesnar was gone. The chair was tipped over. Rollins was still being helped to the back, clutching his ribs. Breakker and Fatu were nowhere in sight. Commentators tried to regain control of the narrative, but it was useless. The night belonged to Lesnar. Every other match felt like filler. Every promo afterward was met with Lesnar chants. Even Gunther's main event squash match was completely overshadowed. After the show went off air, fan-captured footage showed Lesnar exiting through the crowd, old-school style. No music. No spotlight. Just the Beast walking through fans like a predator among prey. He didn't pose. He didn't slap hands. He just left. This was not the return WWE advertised. It wasn't hyped. It wasn't teased. It didn't need pyrotechnics or backstage interviews. It was raw, violent, and real. And that's what made it terrifying. The next day, WWE released a vague, 2-sentence statement. Brock Lesnar returned to Raw in an unannounced capacity and caused significant disruption. WWE officials are currently reviewing the situation and will address it in due time. That's it. No confirmation of contract. No clarification on match bookings. No follow-up from Heyman. Rollins didn't post anything online. Fatu and Breakker were reportedly kept off WWE programming the following night to sell the attack. Inside sources, leaked through trusted wrestling journalists, claimed Lesnar's return was kept under wraps from most of the roster. Only top-level execs and the production truck knew he was coming. The crew responsible for lighting and camera had been told to prepare for an unscheduled blackout sequence. That's how tight the secrecy was. Which only adds to the theory. This wasn't just a dramatic return. This was a message, executed with surgical precision. One of the most telling details? Lesnar's attire. He wore his classic black fight shorts. MMA gloves. Boots. No shirt. No ponytail. His beard was trimmed short, barely there. He looked 10 pounds leaner than the last time fans saw him. Like a man training with a purpose. Like a man preparing for war. No words were spoken. But the statement was deafening. WWE is no longer just about who holds the belt. It's about who holds control. And in one unforgettable night, Brock Lesnar showed the world that control can be taken, not given. Brock Lesnar is not just a wrestler. He's not just a fighter. He is, in every measurable way, a force of nature. The kind of presence that doesn't just change matches, he changes eras. And if you want to understand the shock and gravity of what happened on Raw 2025, you need to understand the man who walked back into the ring that night. Because Brock Lesnar doesn't just make returns. He makes statements. Violent, unforgettable statements written in bone-cracking suplexes and career-shortening F5s. Every return, every appearance, carries weight. That's not hype. That's history. Let's walk through it. Not the mythology. Not the rumors. Just the facts. He was born in Webster, South Dakota, to a farming family. Not the glamorous kind of upbringing people associate with superstar athletes. Brock grew up on hard work. Long days. Physical labor. His early years were spent tossing hay bales and wrangling cattle, not signing autographs or building brands. That grit translated into one of the most dominant amateur wrestling careers in NCAA history. At the University of Minnesota, Brock became a Division I national champion. His college wrestling record? A jaw-dropping 106-5. And this wasn't against nobodies. He was taking out top-tier collegiate talent like it was nothing. From the jump, he wasn't just strong. He was better. WWE saw the potential early. After graduating, Lesnar was quickly recruited into WWE's developmental system. He toured through Ohio Valley Wrestling, OVW, paired with Shelton Benjamin as the Minnesota Stretching Crew, and immediately turned heads with his freakish athleticism. The legend truly began on March 18, 2002. That night, Brock Lesnar debuted on Monday Night Raw. Within seconds, he left 3 men laid out. No warning. Just violence. His manager? Paul Heyman. That alliance alone said everything. Heyman doesn't attach himself to potential. He attaches himself to dominance. From that night forward, Lesnar skyrocketed. By SummerSlam 2002, only 5 months into his WWE career, he became the youngest WWE champion in history at just 25 years old. He defeated The Rock clean. No interference. No controversy. Just a torch-passing moment that shattered expectations. And that wasn't a one-off. Over the next 2 years, Lesnar racked up accolades like a machine. King of the Ring 2002. WWE Champion multiple times. Main event WrestleMania 19 against Kurt Angle. Brutal feuds with The Undertaker, Big Show, and Hardcore Holly. He was a monster. Built like a tank. Fast like a cruiserweight. And agile in ways big men aren't supposed to be. He could shoot double-leg takedowns like a Division I wrestler, because he was one. He could throw men across the ring with one arm. And his F5? It became one of the most feared finishers in WWE history. But Lesnar wasn't wired for the WWE schedule. The grind, the media, the constant travel, it didn't suit him. He didn't care about fame. He didn't love the spotlight. He loved winning. Dominating. And when the machine demanded too much, he walked away. In 2004, at the peak of his early career, he left WWE. People thought it was over. They were wrong. He tried his hand at the NFL, made it all the way to preseason with the Minnesota Vikings. For a guy who hadn't played football since high school, that's unheard of. Then came the next chapter, MMA. Lesnar joined the UFC in 2008. Critics laughed. They thought he was just another wrestler chasing attention. Then he stepped into the cage. In only his fourth professional fight, he defeated Randy Couture to become UFC heavyweight champion. Let that sink in. A WWE wrestler stepped into the most competitive MMA promotion in the world, and became champion. Not on gimmick. Not on flash. On skill. On wrestling. On fists. He defended that title. He unified it. He crushed Shane Carwin, a man everyone thought would destroy him. He only lost when serious health issues, diverticulitis, to be specific, nearly ended his life. But Lesnar didn't fold. He fought back. He came back. Again. And in 2012, he returned to WWE. The music hit. The crowd popped like a bomb. And once again, Lesnar didn't just walk into WWE. He took it hostage. He entered a feud with John Cena that was nothing short of brutal. Their match at Extreme Rules 2012 was a massacre. Lesnar bloodied Cena like no one had before. And even though he lost that match, the tone was set. This was a different Brock. In 2014, the streak ended. Brock Lesnar did the unthinkable. At WrestleMania XXX, he broke The Undertaker's legendary 21-0 undefeated streak. 1, 2, 3. Silence. That moment shocked the entire wrestling world. It was sacrilegious. It was divisive. It was powerful. Only one man could carry the weight of ending the streak. That man was Brock Lesnar. What followed was one of the most dominant stretches in modern WWE history. Lesnar became the final boss. The guy who shows up, wrecks the roster, wins titles, and disappears. Suplex City. That wasn't just a catchphrase. It was a lifestyle. It was pain. From Cena to Rollins to Reigns, Lesnar turned matches into beatdowns. But over time, something changed. Fans started to see another side of Brock. He wasn't just the beast. He was also a man. In interviews, he was quiet. Reserved. Grounded. He didn't care about social media. He didn't court fame. He wanted simplicity. Then came the transformation. Cowboy Brock. Suddenly, in 2021 and 2022, Lesnar reappeared with long hair, a beard, and a cowboy hat. Fans didn't know what to make of it. He smiled more. Talked more. Cracked jokes. It was almost jarring. But the danger never left. Even as Cowboy Brock, he brutalized Sami Zayn, took Roman Reigns to the edge in multiple matches, and re-established himself as a crowd favorite. Yet for all the laughs and new energy, something always felt temporary. Like the beast was just under the surface. Waiting. In 2023, Lesnar faced Cody Rhodes in a heated series that tested both men physically and emotionally. Cody won the final bout, clean. And when Brock raised Cody's hand in respect, fans believed it might be the last they'd see of Lesnar. Then the months passed. Lesnar disappeared again. Rumors swirled about retirement. About health issues. About riding off into the sunset. Until he was seen again. That gym photo. That look. Short hair. Trimmed beard. Fight gear. The glint in his eye that only means one thing: he's back. Not Cowboy Brock. Not part-time Brock. Not the crowd pleaser or the comic relief. The Beast Incarnate. And when he stormed Raw in 2025, he wasn't making a comeback. He was declaring war. This is the full circle moment. From South Dakota farm boy to NCAA legend. From WWE champion to UFC destroyer. From monster heel to cult fan favorite. Brock Lesnar has done it all. And now? He might be doing it one last time. But if history has taught us anything, it's this: never bet against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't reinvent himself often. He doesn't need to. When your default setting is dominance, there's rarely a reason to shift. But when he does change, it means something. Because with Brock, nothing is accidental. Every visual cue, every wardrobe switch, every change in demeanor, it's deliberate. Strategic. Purposeful. That's what made the Cowboy Brock era so fascinating. And that's what makes his return to beast mode in 2025 even more dangerous. To understand why Lesnar's transformation matters, you have to go back to 2021. When everything about him shifted. After a long absence during the pandemic, Brock returned at SummerSlam 2021. It wasn't just the timing that stunned fans. It was the look. Long hair. A thick beard. Jeans. Flannel. Cowboy boots. He looked like he'd walked off a ranch and wandered into the main event. It was surreal. This was the same man who had suplexed Cena into oblivion, who'd stared down The Undertaker without blinking, who'd taken the UFC by storm and dismantled legends. But now? He was smiling. Laughing. Speaking more freely. Leaning into the crowd. He was still terrifying, but in a different way. Like the quiet cowboy in a western flick. The one who drinks in silence until someone pokes him the wrong way, and then everything burns. Some fans were skeptical. They didn't want the funny Brock. They wanted the beast. But Cowboy Brock worked. For a time, it really worked. He showed up more regularly. He engaged in longer storylines. His feud with Roman Reigns was one of the best of the modern era, spanning multiple pay-per-views, escalating from tension to chaos, and culminating in a tractor-lifting moment that broke social media and WWE production equipment all in the same night. Cowboy Brock gave us something rare: access. We saw a different side of him. Not soft, not gentle, but relatable. The guy who didn't care about fame. Who lived off the land. Who went hunting, raised cattle, and didn't give a damn about what the internet thought. He made fans laugh without losing his edge. The segment where he told Sami Zayn they'd go hunting together? Gold. His in-ring promos where he interrupted Heyman? Electric. The impromptu dances, the eyebrow raises, the moments of levity? People weren't just respecting Brock anymore. They were liking him. But as with every WWE character arc, the cowboy version had a shelf life. It wasn't built for the long haul. Brock Lesnar isn't a comedic character. He isn't a talker. He's not the guy you write 12-minute monologues for. That's not what makes him dangerous. And Brock seemed to know that too. As his matches grew more brutal again, against Roman, Bobby Lashley, and Cody Rhodes, the smile faded. The hair got wilder. The beard more unkempt. He began to resemble something closer to a myth than a man. But even then, he wasn't quite there. Not yet. After his trilogy with Cody in 2023, Lesnar disappeared. No interviews. No official goodbye. Just radio silence. When fans caught glimpses of him, at hunting conventions, in public gym selfies, he still looked like Cowboy Brock. The long hair remained. The beard was full. He seemed content. And people assumed, maybe for the first time, that Brock was done. That he had finally walked away for good. Until the photo dropped. One low-resolution image, uploaded by a gym employee in North Dakota, flipped the narrative. Brock Lesnar. Hair cut short. Beard shaved close. Wearing training gear. Leaner. Sharper. Focused. The cowboy was gone. This wasn't just a haircut. This was a message. Because if you followed Brock long enough, you know that look. It's the same look he had in 2002 when he debuted. In 2012 when he returned to crush Cena. In 2014 when he ended the streak. It's a return to the template. The version of Lesnar that doesn't come to play. And then he showed up on Raw. Short hair. Black gloves. No frills. Not a trace of the cowboy left. This version of Brock doesn't joke. Doesn't pose. Doesn't speak unless it's absolutely necessary. This is Beast Mode Brock. The transformation tells you everything about where his head is. The long hair and cowboy hat were a mask. A controlled persona. A man trying to live peacefully. Stay grounded. Stay sane. But something pulled him back. Whether it was the rise of Heyman's faction, a need to settle old scores, or just the itch to break something again, something triggered the return. And when that trigger goes off, Brock doesn't switch characters. He becomes the storm. The evolution from beast to cowboy to beast again mirrors the natural cycle of a predator. Rest. Rebuild. Return. The rest was earned. The rebuild was quiet. And now the return is loud. It's worth noting what this transformation signals to the locker room. Because Lesnar isn't coming back for comedy spots or random title shots. He's not here to boost ratings in Q3. He's not here to carry a rookie to a solid match. He's back for destruction. When Brock shaves the beard, cuts the hair, and ditches the cowboy hat, it means one thing: he's hunting. And if Raw 2025 was the first shot fired, then everyone on the WWE roster just became prey. So yes, the look matters. The trimmed beard, the short hair, the black gear, it's not cosmetic. It's strategic. It's psychological warfare. When Brock Lesnar reverts to the original look, he's telling the world, no more jokes. No more mercy. No more middle ground. It's beast mode. And this time, he's not just back to dominate. He's back to erase everything that tried to replace him. If you're wondering why Brock Lesnar targeted Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's new faction, don't look at the attack like it came out of nowhere. Look closer. This wasn't random. This was personal. Brock Lesnar didn't walk into Raw 2025 to make a general statement. He walked in to settle a specific score, and maybe light a few more on fire while he was at it. Let's break it down. First, start with Seth Rollins. Rollins and Lesnar aren't strangers. They've danced before. And it wasn't a friendly sparring match, it was a feud built on betrayal, mind games, humiliation, and pure disrespect. It goes all the way back to WrestleMania 31 in 2015. Brock Lesnar walked into that main event as the reigning, dominant WWE champion. He was in full beast mode, suplexing Roman Reigns into another dimension. It looked like the match would end with Lesnar standing tall once again. Then Seth Rollins ran down the ramp with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Cashed it in mid-match. Hit a stomp. Got the pin. And stole the WWE Championship right out from under Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. It was the ultimate heist. Rollins didn't beat Lesnar. He outsmarted him. He manipulated the system and used timing over brute strength. And Brock never forgot that. In the years that followed, they would cross paths again. In 2019, Rollins defeated Lesnar not once, but twice. At WrestleMania 35 and again at SummerSlam, Seth pinned Brock clean in the middle of the ring. That's rare. Only a small handful of men have done that. To Lesnar, it wasn't just a loss, it was a scar. A reminder that Rollins was one of the few who escaped the F5 storm not only alive, but victorious. Now fast forward to 2025. Seth Rollins isn't just a champion anymore, he's building an empire. Paul Heyman, the same man who made Brock Lesnar a household name, is now guiding Rollins. Backstage rumors suggest Heyman pitched the idea himself. That after the Roman Reigns saga, Heyman wanted a new project. A new chosen one. And Rollins was it. Heyman is a master of mind games. He doesn't just find talent, he finds leverage. By aligning himself with Rollins, he created a power base on Raw. Not just a top-tier talent, but a whole faction. And here's where it gets even more layered. This faction isn't just about numbers. It's about legacy. Because Heyman didn't recruit just anyone. He brought in Braun Breaker, the genetically gifted, powerhouse son of Rick Steiner. He's a physical freak, explosive, young, and hungry. Then came Jacob Fatu. A monster from the Anoa'i bloodline, with savage intensity and a brawler's mentality. Together, these men created a faction that felt less like a team and more like a declaration of war. Heyman even dubbed them the Architects of Annihilation. That's not just branding. That's symbolic. The Architect was always Seth's moniker. But Annihilation, that's a Lesnar word. That's beast language. Heyman took Brock's most primal identity and handed it to someone else. That's the betrayal. Heyman didn't just move on. He repurposed Lesnar's brand. He built a new machine with new gears, and Seth Rollins is the engine. So when Brock stormed Raw and laid waste to the entire faction, he wasn't just attacking a group. He was reclaiming his identity. He was taking back what Heyman tried to rewrite. And don't underestimate how deep that wound goes. Heyman and Lesnar's history isn't just business. It's personal. Heyman once called Brock Lesnar the alpha and the omega of sports entertainment. He was more than a manager. He was an advocate. A mouthpiece. A brain that paired with Brock's brute force to create one of the most feared combinations in WWE history. When Lesnar left for the UFC, Heyman stayed loyal. When he returned, Heyman was at his side again. For over a decade, it was an unshakable partnership. But WWE is a game of timing, and timing changes everything. Heyman saw an opportunity with Seth. A chance to pivot, to evolve. And Brock Lesnar? He doesn't pivot. He doesn't evolve to fit others' narratives. He dominates them. And so when Lesnar watched his old manager stand next to the man who beat him twice, who humiliated him at WrestleMania, who hijacked his title, it had to sting. Not just because of the past, but because of what it symbolized, that Paul Heyman had chosen a new beast. And Brock doesn't share titles. Or spotlights. Or thrones. He takes them back. That's what Raw 2025 was really about. Not a comeback. A correction. Let's also look at how Brock attacked. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't surgical. It was a total demolition. He went through Braun Breaker like he was nothing. This is a man WWE has been grooming as a future main eventer. Big frame. Intensity. A throwback to early 2000s aggression. And Lesnar tossed him like trash. Then Jacob Fatu, no small man himself, and perhaps the most violent of the bunch. Brock treated him like a minor obstacle. That wasn't just an ambush. It was a power play. It was Lesnar telling Heyman, your new family isn't enough. Your empire is weak. And I'm still the real threat. But the most telling moment? Lesnar's gaze. The one he gave Heyman after the carnage. No words. No threats. Just a stare. And in WWE, that silence is louder than any promo. It said everything, you made your choice. Now live with it. This isn't just about a feud. It's about narrative control. Rollins may have stolen the spotlight in 2015. He may have held the championship high in 2019. But Brock Lesnar just rewrote the headline. And Heyman? He's caught in the middle. Which raises another question, one nobody wants to say out loud: whose side is Heyman really on? Is he playing Rollins to create a distraction? Or has he truly abandoned the Beast for a new dynasty? Knowing Heyman, the truth will come out, but not until the damage is done. And judging by Raw, Brock's just getting started. In the shadow of Brock Lesnar's return, another storm is brewing, one that has been teased, taunted, and now officially scheduled. Gunther vs. Goldberg. A generational clash. A statement match. A title bout that feels less like a contest and more like an experiment in force versus legacy. Let's break it down, why this match matters, how it came to be, and how it connects to the larger, evolving narrative of dominance in WWE. Gunther is the most dominant intercontinental champion of the modern era. A man who redefined what it means to be a champion, not through antics or alliances, but through unrelenting physicality and ruthless consistency. His title reign didn't just break records. It changed how fans and wrestlers talk about mid-card titles altogether. He elevated the championship. Made it feel like it mattered again. And after losing that title, cleanly, decisively, Gunther didn't fall. He ascended. He pivoted into the World Heavyweight Championship picture and, in the process, morphed into something even more terrifying, a silent general with a singular purpose. Every move calculated. Every promo minimal but sharp. Every match clinical and punishing. Enter Goldberg. A name that triggers instant reactions: love, hate, awe, frustration. But always emotion. Goldberg's legacy is defined by one word: intensity. He didn't talk much. He didn't wrestle for 30 minutes. He ended people. Fast. Brutal. Uncompromising. In the late 90s, his streak was the stuff of legend, 173-0, if you believe the storyline. His entrance? Electric. His persona? Relentless. In his prime, nobody moved like Goldberg. Nobody looked like him. Nobody could match the fear factor. But in recent years, the returns have been mixed. Sometimes he showed up to destroy, like against Dolph Ziggler or The Fiend. Sometimes he got exposed, like against The Undertaker or Roman Reigns. Age caught up. The explosiveness dulled. But the aura? Still intact. The pop when his music hits is still nuclear. And now, here we are. WWE has booked Gunther vs. Goldberg for Saturday night's main event. Not a gimmick match. Not a squash. A straight-up fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. This isn't nostalgia. This is intentional. And it all started with a line. At Bad Blood, Gunther stood in the ring after another dominant win. No mic. No celebration. Just stared straight into the hard cam and mouthed two words: "I'm next." The callback wasn't accidental. It was a shot at Goldberg's most famous catchphrase, "Who's next?" Then last week, on social media, Gunther doubled down. He posted a photo of his boots beside the World Heavyweight title with a caption that read, "I can spare 3 minutes." 3 minutes. The exact amount of time Goldberg used to destroy opponents in his prime. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't respectful. It was provocation. Goldberg, never one to ignore a challenge, responded with a promo on WWE's official Instagram. "You want 3 minutes, Gunther? You got it. Let's see if you can survive it." And just like that, the match was made. But here's the truth behind the hype: Gunther doesn't care about Goldberg's legacy. He doesn't care about WCW, streaks, or nostalgia pops. Gunther is here to build his legacy, not revive someone else's. This match is about proving a point. To himself. To the locker room. To the fans. That the old guard doesn't intimidate him. That the myths don't matter anymore. that Goldberg is just another name on the list. But here's the twist, and it's the part most people are missing: Goldberg has nothing to lose. He's not chasing one last title run. He's not trying to become a weekly champion again. He's here because someone poked the dragon. Because someone said his name with disrespect. And that's when Goldberg is most dangerous. When he's backed into a corner. When the pressure is off and pride is on the line. When his opponent thinks they've already won. The clash is more than a match. It's a battle of philosophies. Gunther, slow. Methodical. Surgical. A punisher who breaks people piece by piece. Goldberg, explosive. Chaotic. Fast. A wrecking ball who ends fights before they begin. This is a match where either man could realistically win in under 5 minutes, or less. The build-up doesn't require 20-minute promos or contract signings or forced tension. The tension is baked in. And yet, beneath all that, there's a deeper thread that links this to Brock Lesnar's return. Because while everyone is focused on Gunther versus Goldberg, there's one man who has history with both of them. Brock Lesnar. Lesnar and Goldberg have collided multiple times, famously at WrestleMania XX, a disaster, and then again at Survivor Series 2016, a shocker, and finally at WrestleMania 33, where Lesnar reclaimed dominance. With Gunther? The story hasn't been told yet. But fans have begged for it. The Clash of Titans. The ultimate test of strength versus brutality. A dream match still waiting to happen. So what if Lesnar is watching? What if his return isn't just about Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman? What if he's keeping an eye on who wins this war? Because if Brock is truly back in beast mode, he's going to want more than revenge. He's going to want gold. And if that means decimating Goldberg again, or stepping up to the ring general who thinks he's untouchable? So be it. This match between Gunther and Goldberg might be Saturday's headline, but it could also be the first domino in something much bigger. A triple collision. A power vacuum. A reckoning. One where strength, legacy, and hunger collide. And when that happens? Someone always gets hurt. The second Brock Lesnar appeared on Raw 2025, the match in the ring became irrelevant. The crowd stopped watching the storyline and started watching history. In less than 2 minutes, Lesnar didn't just take over Raw. He took over the internet. It's not an exaggeration. This was the kind of return that split timelines. 1 second WWE fans were talking about Gunther versus Goldberg, and the next, social feeds were filled with only one thing: Brock. Trending topics exploded. WWE's YouTube channel pushed out a video clip titled "Brock Lesnar Returns to Annihilate Rollins Faction," and within an hour, it had 3.1 million views. That number only grew. But numbers alone don't tell the story. What made this return different wasn't just the surprise. It was the impact. It was the look. It was the collective reaction from fans, wrestlers, influencers, analysts, and casual observers who saw something they didn't expect to see again: the original Beast. Reddit threads lit up within seconds. On r/squared circle, a mega thread titled "Brock Lesnar Just Destroyed Rollins Live on Raw" surged past 10,000 upvotes in 30 minutes. Commenters weren't just excited, they were unhinged. One post read, "We just got the 2002 to 2015 Lesnar back. Not the cowboy. Not the smiley guy. This is the Beast. This is the guy who F5D Roman through a table and walked away like it was Tuesday." Another user added, "You could see the murder in his eyes. That man is not here to wrestle. He's here to erase people." On TikTok, reaction videos exploded. Some users screamed when the lights went black. Others filmed themselves in stunned silence, jaws dropped as Lesnar walked into the ring and dismantled the new faction like they were mannequins. Instagram wrestling fan pages posted frame-by-frame stills of the assault, the suplex to Breaker, the F5 to Rollins, the silent glare at Heyman. Memes popped up immediately. Lesnar sitting on the steel chair was already being edited into Thrones, Marvel scenes, and classic gangster films. Then came the influencers. YouTubers who cover wrestling. Big names with millions of subscribers launched live streams within minutes. One host opened with, "Forget what you thought you knew about 2025 WWE. Lesnar just hit the reset button on Raw." Another said, "This is the kind of return that rewrites creative direction. This isn't a one-off. You don't bring this Brock back unless you have a plan." And trust me, they have a plan. Wrestling journalists didn't lag far behind. Fightful's Twitter/X account posted a cryptic tweet. Sources had zero warning. Production crew knew a blackout was coming but not why. Dave Meltzer followed up with, "This was kept tighter than Lesnar's 2012 return. The only people who knew were in Guerrilla. Zero leaks. That's rare." Sean Ross Sapp confirmed that Lesnar's travel was booked privately. He was flown in under an alias. No hotel booked under WWE. No arrival at the usual talent entrances. This wasn't just a swerve. It was a surgical infiltration. And that's exactly how the fans saw it. Because this wasn't like other returns. It wasn't advertised. It wasn't teased with vignettes or mystery QR codes or countdowns. There was no merchandise waiting in the lobby. No hints from commentary. No could it be speculation. It was silence. Followed by shock. Followed by domination. Even fans who didn't particularly like Lesnar were stunned into respect. On Twitter/X, one user wrote, "I'm not a Lesnar guy. Never have been. But that was art." That's how you remind the world you're the final boss. Wrestlers took notice, too. Cody Rhodes posted a single emoji, a pair of wide eyes. Gunther tweeted noted with a video of Lesnar tossing Breakker like a rag doll. Paul Heyman posted nothing. Not even a photo. Which, ironically, said everything. Silence, in the world of WWE, is the loudest answer possible. Other wrestlers, both in WWE and from AEW, took the moment seriously. Some reached out behind the scenes to verify if this return meant full-time action, a short-term angle, or something bigger. Because here's the thing, Brock Lesnar doesn't just show up for fun. He doesn't return for one-off spots. He returns when there's money to be made. When there's a statement to be delivered. And the fact that WWE risked reshuffling an entire show just to make room for a 2-minute Lesnar segment? That tells you the priority. This wasn't a segment. This was a signal. A warning shot to every champion, every up-and-comer, every legend still hanging around looking for one more run. And the digital response confirmed it. The return broke through the wrestling bubble and hit mainstream sports news. ESPN picked up the story with the headline, "Brock Lesnar returns to WWE, and wrecks the current champions faction." Bleacher Report ran a feature called, "Back in Beast Mode, Why Lesnar's New Look Might Be a Final Chapter or His Deadliest Yet." Even Sports Illustrated covered it. The piece asked the question fans had been whispering for months, what happens when the most dangerous man in WWE history decides he's not done? That question is now front and center. Because Lesnar's return didn't just go viral, it rewrote the momentum. Before Raw, the conversation was about Gunther's rise, Rollins' title reign, and Goldberg's final stand. After Raw? It's about one thing. Lesnar. The old look. The old stare. The old dominance. Fans aren't just reacting. They're investing. They're building fantasy matches, dream feuds, and asking, who's next? Not in the Goldberg way. In the Brock way. The kind of who's next that means, who gets broken next. Lesnar returned without saying a word. But the internet heard him loud and clear,